Israel. Thank you, Philippines. Why Jews have a close friendship with Filipinos. The Jewish Rescue. In 1939, President Manuel L. Quezon opened the doors of the Philippines to 1,300 Jews escaping the Holocaust in Europe before the war erupted. This started the close friendship of Jews and Filipinos, which is commemorated through the Open Doors Monument in Tel Aviv. In 2013, a documentary entitled Rescue in the Philippines shared the untold story of this Jewish rescue in Manila. It was heartwarming to hear the stories of Holocaust survivors who were based in Manila and how Filipinos warmly accepted them like their own family. Charity repaid. In November 2013, Danny Pins, who is the son of a Holocaust survivor in Manila, Margot Casel Pins, joined the American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee to be the first ones on the ground in Tacloban and help the Typhoon Haiyan victims. He wrote a beautiful story in the Wall Street Journal entitled A Christmas Story of Philippine Charity Repaid. I was crying by the time I finished reading the article. In 2014, the Israelis also showed the support for our own kababayan Rose Fostaines to win the reality singing competition X Factor Israel. Thank you, Philippines. This 2015, this close Jewish-Filipino friendship is the inspiration behind the Embassy of Israel's Thank You, Philippines campaign. It started with the launch of the commemorative Philippine-Israel stamp featuring the Open Doors Monument. On February 26 at 7 p.m., Rose Fostaines is leading the Thank You, Philippines Jazz Fest at the Music Museum to celebrate the historical friendship between Israel and the Philippines. This year's Jazz Festival coincides with the commemoration of the 70th year of the end of World War II, as well as the liberation of Manila. It will highlight the Philippines' role in the rescue of 1,300 Jewish people from the Holocaust. Rescue in the Philippines opening from 3 Roads Communications on Vimeo. Rescue in the Philippines is a 1-hour documentary of the previously untold story of how the 5 Frieda brothers, Cincinnati businessmen making 2 and nickel cigars in pre-World War II Manila, together with Manuel Quezon, the charismatic first president of the Philippines, Paul McNutt, U.S. High Commissioner and former governor of Indiana, preparing for his own presidential campaign, and an ambitious army colonel named Dwight Eisenhower, helped 1,200 Jews escape the Nazis and immigrate to the Philippines. An Open Door, Jewish Rescue in the Philippines. An Open Door is a feature-length documentary on the uplifting story of how a small Asian nation was able to save over 1,300 Jews as they fled the pogroms of Nazi Germany. It is written, produced and directed by award-winning filmmaker Noel Emison and co-produced by author Sharon Del Mendo. This is the 3rd film in his World War II trilogy Forgotten Stories. This unique film will explore the rare confluence of the Pacific and European theaters. It juxtaposes momentous events in history such as the passage of the Nuremberg Laws on September 15, 1935, and, exactly 2 months later, the inauguration of the Philippines as a Commonwealth of the United States. One door closes and another opens. An Open Door is the story of a deep and improbable international friendship born of common adversity and intense love for freedom. Together, Filipinos and Jews struggled, endured and ultimately prevailed against overwhelming odds. Noel Emison is an independent filmmaker based in the Washington, D.C. area. He was born in Manila in the first year of the Philippine independence after World War II and is now an American citizen. Accounts of Holocaust survivors in Manila. Press conference 10 February 2015. We left Cologne, Germany on a half-hour's notice in 1933. My dad had been accused of having murdered 2 Nazis. We went to Madrid where my father represented Deutz, the same company he had worked for in Germany. In 1936 the Spanish Civil War began and my mother and I went to Germany. My father went to Portugal. 2 weeks after our arrival in Germany, we were told they would arrest my mother to make my father come back. We immediately went to Portugal to meet my dad. In 1937, his company told him that there was a war coming and they were going to send him to the Philippines. We arrived 1 August and my dad had his office at the Philippine Engineering Company on Calais Round. They were the Deutsche agents. In 1940, my father got his parents out of Germany and brought them to the Philippines. They came via the Trans-Siberian Railway to Vladivostok, and from there they went to Japan and to Manila. They were true Holocaust survivors and must have been some of the last Jews to get out of Germany. I went to the US in 1949 to study and spent 2 years in the US Army. I came to the Philippines several times on business, as the company I worked for supplied pumps to many industrial projects. Margot Casel Pins. Biography. Briefly, I was born in Breslau, Germany, Wrocław today, 1931. Attended Jewish nursery 2nd grade. Left for Philippines October 1938 at age 7, attended Star Escolastica grade 1+2. Attended PWU 3 to 7 grades, including the Japanese occupation. Lived through the battle for the liberation of Manila. Our yard turned out to be the front line for the battle at the time. Attended American high school 9th, 10th, 12th grades. Planned to study in US since I had met my future husband as an American soldier when I was 15. Left for the USA Sept. 1949. Attended Barnard College, N.Y. 1949 to 51. Got married, moved to Chicago, got master's degree in early childhood education. Gave birth to son Danny Pins, works for American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee, which will receive award for its help in typhoon-related projects from Phil. Government. Followed by 2 daughters, Judy and Mitchell. Now have 8 children, 1 great-granddaughter. Immigrated to Israel 1974, was widowed in 1978. Worked for Israel's for community centers till 1991, created early childhood services in community centers around the country, daycare, toddler care and family daycare. Helped create a post-BA program in early childhood at the Hebrew University with an interdisciplinary approach. Pioneered the idea of professional training for work with children 0 to 3 years of age as essential. Today they grant a master's degree. Went to Uganda to help women set up group care programs for babies and young children to free up women power to work. 1991, follow-up visit in a year. 1994 went to Rwanda, set up training program for staff in working with child trauma victims of the genocide between Hutus and Tutsis. 1995-1996 return visits to help staff train more staff. 1996 to 1998 headed and managed the congregation called Mevik, Searching for the Way, a moderately oriented religious congregation in Jerusalem. 2001 remarried and now in Kestenbaum. Open Doors Monument in Tel Aviv. The Philippines held out a promise of a safe haven from Nazi oppression, offering survival from the mass murder of the Jewish people in Europe. Frank Abraham, author of the book, Escape to Manila, From Nazi Tyranny to Japanese Terror. Open Doors by Luis Junior Jr., Filipino artist. This monument is a testament to the open-door policy of the Philippine Commonwealth under President Manuel L. Quezon. The 3 open doors in increasing heights symbolize the courage and humanitarian deeds of the Filipino people in welcoming the Jews escaping the Holocaust in Europe in 1939. The triangular patterns of the open doors represent the triangles of the Philippine flag and the Star of David that were joined to mark the close and friendly relations between the Republic of the Philippines and State of Israel as the 2 nations celebrated the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations in August 2007. The light represents the sun that brought the hope and the warm hospitality of the Filipino people as they welcomed the Jews in 1939. The doors are painted brown to represent the Filipinos' Malay race. The footprints, the 21st of June 2009. 1. George Lowenstein was among the thousands of Jews who sought refuge in the Philippines in 1939. He now lives in the U.S. His footprints are carved on the floor of the first door. 2. Max Weissler arrived in the Philippines in 1941 at the age of 11 years. He was a refugee from Germany and grew up in the Philippines. Max now lives in Israel. His footprints are carved on the floor of the second door. 3. Dori Lizgoffa is a 10-year-old Filipino-Israeli born in the Philippines. She is a granddaughter of Holocaust survivors. Her footprints represent the continuing friendship between the Republic of the Philippines and the State of Israel. Her footprints are carved on the floor of the third door. A Christmas Story of Philippine Charity repaid by Danny Pins. My mother and grandparents were among the more than 1,300 European Jews offered safe haven from the Nazis by Philippine President Manuel Quezon in the late 1930s. The Philippines was then an American protectorate, and the rescue effort resulted from cooperation between Quezon, the family of Manila-based Jewish cigar manufacturer Alex Frieda, U.S. High Commissioner to the Philippines Paul V. McNutt, and the American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee, JDC, a global relief agency that aids Jews and others in danger. This little-known chapter in World War II history was told in a 2012 documentary, Rescue in the Philippines, but was also given new life in November 2013, when Jewish and Israeli aid organizations mobilized to support hundreds of thousands of Filipinos devastated by Typhoon Haiyan. 1 week after the storm made landfall, I set off from Israel, joining my JDC team to assess our emergency work, delivering food, fresh water, shelter supplies, medicine and medical equipment, and ensure that the needs on the ground were met.